And you know we got to touch on this. We'll do some roster stuff. I understand there was some Lions news to come out of camp. We'll get to that in the next segment. But, look, the preseason's over. I had checked out already. Lindsay, I'm sorry. I'm just being honest, man. Everybody else checked out. Why don't I get to check out? And with that being said, I did listen to it on the radio a little bit while I mowed the lawn. I'm going to be honest. Lindsay, did you have any takeaways?
No, man.
Great talk, Lindsay. Thank you.
I checked out also. I checked. The only thing that I was a little inquisitive about was the trade that the 49ers made.
That's it?
Yep.
That's it. What about you, Sean?
I watched. I feel the exact same way as you. I mean, listen, I've said for years, the people that put stuff into this, I think you're out your mind. If you enjoy it. You know, screw somebody like me, but somebody that puts something into this, you're just not getting anything out of it. I mean, sorry. I'll say again, the good news is the Lions have more depth than any time I can remember. But watching this team's 2s and 3s consistently and more like 3s and 4s, what could you possibly take out of it? No, it was nice to watch, and it was interesting. Listen, I don't know if you guys watch any on television. That was kind of a pro-Panther broadcast, and I'm usually not one to play that game.
Really? That's off-brand for you.
Quit your bitching. You know, I'm kind of that guy, but it was a little pro-Panther on Friday. And it was funny because I was like, to your point, Neil, I'm usually a guy who yells at people like, stop it, knock it off, okay? But what I did is I started creeping on Twitter, just going, okay, is anybody else hearing this? And people were going crazy. Are these the Panther broadcasters? It was a little pro-Panthers. It was. But I get it. You know, you got a Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 pick in the draft, all that. You know, there's all the
it was
hubbub
sexy.
about that.
Like that's the storyline. The Lions aren't playing anybody. I mean, what did you think was going to happen, man?
That's a great point. Hey, boy, these second and third stringers for the Lions, sure, they're going to talk about the big story. It's the National Football League. But I take nothing out of these games. I've felt that way for years. This is the opportunity. Lindsay's probably sick and tired of hearing it, to say these people that put something into this, are you new? Are you new to the NFL? The Browns, the Lions, 0-16 teams, both went 4-0 in the exhibition season, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's real.
Well, Sean, maybe they had that action on it because there's one man at Woodward you can go to when you need your lock on a college game day. Or if you just need to know how many glizzies Joey Chestnut's going to house this year, and that man is Booner of Woodward Sports. Have no fear. Booner locking in all football season to bring you the best picks only on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. That's on Saturdays at 11 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m. And that premieres live September 2nd. College football, he's got you. NFL football, of course. Woodward Bets. Watch the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. But look, if you want to make a case for I had some interest in preseason. Here's why I kind of tapped out. All the positions outside of the 6th receiver are pretty much settled for the Detroit Lions. We know where we are. Now, if you're a Texans fan, and C.J. Stroud actually got the opportunity to spin it a little bit from what I saw. If you're a Carolina fan, which again goes back to it, which is why they're going to kind of play that card, there's some juice there if you're a Carolina fan, Lindsay, because you want to see your guy, right?
Yeah, but you still, the only thing that watching 2s and 3s play is let you know how good your 1s are. That's what you get out of it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can get out of it. Watching the 2nd and 3rd and 4th string guys play, I realized, man, our first stringers are pretty damn good. So it's the only thing I can pretty much get out of it.
Neil, I think you made reference to this, and I know, Lindsay, you and I were talking about this last week. I hate to blow anybody's bubble. I do. I hate to blow anybody's little facade and illusion that you created. You are out of your mind if you don't think these coaches knew a month and a half ago who 51 of their 53 was. That's the way it is. They knew. Right. They knew. Now, are there a couple jobs that can be won? Absolutely. Are there a couple jobs that are intriguing? Absolutely. I'm intrigued. My guy, Anthony Pittman. Love Anthony Pittman. I saw him in college, did his games. Great kid, local kid. you know what? I want him to be on the 53. And the question is, are they going to keep that extra D lineman, or are you going to keep that extra linebacker and a guy that can play some linebacker and obviously is a demon on special teams? Those are the things that I'm interested in, okay? But these people, and you know it as well as I do, you know, there's the guy coming down from the mountaintop like he's the smartest football mind in the room. Well, these guys use it. Try telling that to the 10 guys that are trying to make this team. It doesn't work that way, man.
No.
I don't know what to tell you. These guys, especially a team as deep as the Lions, they know who they're going to take. It might work for a couple of those guys, so your point is well taken. I give you the JV to Miggy tip of the cap. But 51 out of 53, it's a couple spots that we're all going to be intrigued to see how it plays itself out by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
No, and look, it just goes back to that. These guys aren't catching the game-winning pass in the Super Bowl, Lindsey.
No.
And if they're in a position to do so, you ain't in
We're
the Super
trouble.
Bowl.
You're not in the Super Bowl. Absolutely. Someone in the chat said, undisciplined in preseason, undisciplined in regular season. So some people are putting stock in this preseason. Poor guys.
They're out there, Lindsey. They're absolutely out there, and it is. It's incredible to me. Mark Walston, Mahomes played, Rodgers played, but correct me if I'm wrong. They didn't do the joint practices, right, Sean? Like there seems to be a new method of how you do things.
I think this is going to be the way it is moving forward.
I think so,
I
too.
think this is the new NFL. Let me say this, okay? The only thing, the can of worm that is open with this, God forbid the Lions get off to a bad start. God forbid, okay? If your ears are very, very fragile, turn off right now. God forbid the Lions take a step backwards. Instead of going 9-8, they go 8-9. Do you know how many people will blame it on exhibition? I'm telling you, right? You guys know that.
No doubt. Yeah,
people
no
are
doubt.
going to say they weren't ready for the season. Maybe they learned their lesson. To which I reply.
He held on to all that salary cap money.
To which I reply, do you really think that playing one series, maybe 3 downs, is the difference between winning 8 games and winning 10 games? I mean, really, that's what we're talking about. Because if they're going to play, it's probably going to be a series, maybe 2 series. Well, what if they go 1, 2, 3 kick? Really, 3 plays is the difference. That's the difference. That would have broken the seal, and the Lions would have gone here. No, that's not the difference.
And we talked about this last week. Do you think Tom Brady, those 4 preseason snaps he took,
that was the difference.
What
that
made
was
him
the
a
difference in him
Made
winning
him a
that Super Bowl?
7-time
That's what made
Super
him a
Bowl
champion,
champion.
man. That's
Absolutely nothing to do
The
with him
work
winning
in
the Super Bowl.
August reveals itself in February, Lindsey. Under that hot summer sun. I don't know if you knew that or not. It makes all the difference, Lindsey.
Right. Absolutely. But hey, those 4 snaps was the difference, though. That made Tom Brady the 7-time Super Bowl champion. That
Woodward-
preseason snap.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread Corey Berry says you make a good point. But I think the joint practices and how hard they go versus each other will be okay. And look, I think that's going to be the way going forward. And I think Dan Campbell told you as much with some of the comments he made to the media where he talked about the joint practices and said, I kind of prefer doing the work because everything's controlled.
Right.
It's ones-on-ones. It's in a game environment. But it's not reckless. And Lindsey, hold on. You tell me that, Lindsey. Preseason.
Yes.
You played in preseason games. There are 2 different gears. True or false?
Totally 2 different gears.
This man did it.
And
he played it.
And practicing against one another, you went harder. And like Dan Campbell said, it was more controlled. We knew exactly what we were trying to get accomplished. You know, although we were going at each other as hard as we possibly could to make each other better, we still knew, like, within the realm of not hurting someone or not risking it all. But you still got more accomplished than a preseason game.
I was out there 2 days in a row for those giant joint practices, and I think Lindsey and I touched on this. Neil, to your point, the first day the Lions won so dominated the Giants, really on both sides of the ball, okay, that you kind of knew the next day the Giants were going to say, enough of this. Enough.
Right.
In particular, defensively, they made life miserable on the Lions. They took it personal. They knew that they were played that first day.
And that would never happen in a preseason
Never
game.
in a million years would that happen in a preseason game. So I'm sorry. I do. I think there's more validity to that than anybody out there wants to admit.
But don't worry if you are a preseason football fan, because those will be around forever because they're free gates. They're free gates to the owner. You have to buy them if you buy season tickets. Period. Hard stop. They ain't going anywhere.
No. Free money.
They're not going anywhere.